It's the moment when everything is on the line and precision, power, and control make all the difference. A moment over 20 years in the making, anchored on loyalty, trust, and support that goes beyond all expectations. A relentless pursuit of perfection. All born from a revolutionary idea to help you rule the water. Power Pole.
Your early morning mentality is your every hour mentality. All gas, no brakes. Focus, purpose, power. Destined for the water, but confident everywhere else. A calming buzz before the storm, the truth of nature itself. You can't catch lightning in a bottle. There's a limit out there, but it's not with your gear. Unrelenting power delivery. Unparalleled weight savings. Keeping you on the water, whether you run a 9.9 or outscoping your best 5. In this rare air, there's power in the silence. It's a mindset, thinking only of the things that matter and freeing your mind from the things that you trust.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Twisted Cat Outdoors podcast, where we give you information on tournaments, events, everything in the catfishing world, bringing you value, tips and tricks, things that you can do out there on the water. Let's get this show started.
I look at this for the Twisted Cat Outdoors 3-fish record.
Hey everybody, welcome Monday night, 7 o'clock Central, for those that are watching in the Midwest here. We've got a special guest, Jason Masingale, one of my pro staff anglers of SeaArk Boats, going to be on going over all SeaArk Invitational things for the Catfish Invitational in Decatur, Alabama, April 26th. While a few people are still jumping on, we're going to play the Twisted Cat Outdoors recap from Alton just about a month or so ago in Alton, Illinois. So while you watch that and a few more people jump on, and then we will bring Jason in to the podcast. So enjoy this video. What do you think it is? Like, I know you didn't see that, but I'm feeling for you right now. Oh my.
Big fish right now, Stuart Thatcher's team with 62.29.
Okay, show the crowd that. That second boat over 100 pounds? Beautiful fish. Hey, good job. All right, here we go. Oh my.
114.49.
Let's get a big round of applause. 114.49. Hey, welcome to Alton, Illinois. This is stop 3 of the Twisted Cat Outdoors 2025 tournament season. 67 teams from all over the Midwest, from West Texas all the way to Ohio. The conditions yesterday were amazing. Beautiful, warm weather, not a lot of wind. Today, completely different. Highs like in the low 40s. extreme high winds. You got to really get out there early and catch those fish early, because I think this afternoon is going to be a lot tougher bite. So I can't wait to see what these anglers bring in. And again, 67 teams here in Alton, Illinois, right along the Mississippi River banks. They can fish the Illinois, Mississippi, Missouri River. A lot of things going on that makes this one of the best fishing destinations in the country. And that's why we draw so many boats. So again, this is stop 3. We got a lot of things left this year. We're just getting started, and we can't wait to see what these anglers bring in today.
Well, you've been steady, building steam like a thunderhead.
Hey everybody, I just want to take a quick second to personally thank everybody that's helped Twisted Cat Outdoors grow over the last 11 years. The sponsors, the spectators, the anglers, and of course my family and staff that has been through it all. The early mornings, the late nights, the terrible weather. We've seen it all, and again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all for continuing to help Twisted Cat Outdoors grow. And let's have an awesome 2025 season. We got a long road ahead of us to get through it. Let's go.
The difference in the wind. When the dark clouds form and start to turn, I'll run again. Far away when the hurricane comes in. When the dark clouds form and start to turn, I'll run again. Far away when the hurricane, oh, that old hurricane comes.
Now fit into the hardware. We've got in third place Jeff and Mary Beth Howe with 129.03.
Just you wait, listen for the storm. Hear the difference in the wind. When dark clouds form and start to turn, I'll run again. Far away when the hurricane comes in.
In second place, Craig Norris, John Thielen, and Andy Thompson. They did 129.30, taking home $4,000.
But I was born to fight the wind and rain. Sometimes a man will keep himself in shame. Mask a painful past he overcame. Oh, yes. Oh,
Now your first place winners and big fish.
Who's this?
All right, their big fish was 80.43, which takes them to $500 with Midway, Castaway Midwest Big Fish. Eddie Henney, Joe Lunsford, and Christy. They also, their total weight, 181.12. That's giving them $8,000. Taking them to $500.
Yeah, baby!
Awesome job. You got 3 strikes up there. And you strike the horse.
ready with the lies you overheard.
Just trying to see if I can see everybody.
That's the crew right there. Top 18 here in Alton, Illinois.
You ready? 3, 2, 1. Whose phone's ringing? I'm good.
I just wait and listen for the storm. You can hear the difference in the wind. When the dark clouds form and start to turn, I'll run again. Far away when the hurricane comes in. When the dark clouds form and start to turn.
All right, so that was the recap from Alton. That video, kind of an awesome event. If you got questions tonight that you want to ask Jason, make sure you ask him in the comments. Now's the time to find out how he catches those big fish, cashes those big checks. But without further ado, let's bring the one and only, the OG, Mr. Jason Masingale, into the podcast.
Hey, how you doing, Alex?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Excited to be here. Appreciate you letting me come on tonight.
Hey, we love having you on. You know, we get to pick your brain on how do you cash the checks and catch the big fish, and you've been doing it for a long time, and you know, one of the best in the sport, and we love having you on here.
Well, thank you. Thanks a lot. You know, Daryl and I have been really lucky in a lot of these tournaments. Had some really good days on the right days, and that definitely counts. I'll take luck any day for sure. So yeah, it's been fun. But hey, if these questions get a little tough now, there's a lot of these guys out there. I don't know some of these anymore. You know, sports changed. You know, literally the whole field on tournament day these days, anybody can win, and that makes it really exciting. Makes those wins a lot more. I guess you'd say, makes them something special for sure.
Oh, I guarantee it. Yeah, like I said, I got to MC that event in Megabucks down in Vicksburg. That was super fun. I got Chris Stout sending me text messages right now, but no, it was super fun. And Liz actually did the music on day 2 when everybody was coming in. But you know, that was one of the most electric weigh-ins I've ever been a part of in catfishing. I'm not sure what you think. And you know, the year before, I got to go to the Bassmaster Classic with Steve Henderson and got to experience that. So that kind of gave me that idea of how cool it would be to have like a walk-up song as these anglers bring their boats to the stage. And I thought that was super cool. So
yeah, that was neat. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's just amazing how much the sport of trophy catfishing has grown, and the sponsors are in it now, and it's really a team event, and really, I hate to say, it's just like a family. You know, trophy catfishing is these guys. You know, a lot of tournaments. If you're new to the tournament scene, come to those weigh-ins and hang around after the weigh-in, and you can pick up a whole lot of tips and secrets. These guys are really, especially if you're new to the sport, willing to share and help these new anglers out for sure.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, you learn so much. Even as a young angler, when I got in the sport, you know, being a tournament director and fishing these tournaments, you learn a lot quick because, like we talked about years ago, I mean, I got old messages on Facebook with you. You know, there might be a 50 boat tournament, but if I go there and I get skunked or have a bad day, somebody did awesome, and I get to learn what they did, whether they were fishing a sand flat or ledges or whatever, and then that kind of just makes you a better angler. And you know, back when I started 11 years ago, you know, for Twisted Cat, I started to tell like who the top 5 teams are going to be. And that concerned me for the future. And now like there's a lot of really good anglers and a lot of people are getting good. So you I mean, you got a lot of competition now, and that's what was exciting to see you win, you know, Vicksburg. You've had really a good, last year you did really, really well.
Yeah. We kind of had a comeback year last year. Sometimes you got to, you know, some of the best successes are after some of the more difficult years, and you go back to the drawing board and figure out what you've done different and how we missed the mark on those tournament days. And last year was a good year. We were excited. Daryl and myself and David had a good Vicksburg, and Helena, but it was a lot of fun. But I tell you what, I enjoy, you know, like you talk about Chris Stout there, you know, those guys, all those people we've met and made friends with. It's a lot of fun to see them at these tournaments, and a lot of fun. We talked about family earlier, but this SeaArk family and this SeaArk tournament that's coming up is going to be another great event. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's why, you know, you hit on sponsors earlier, and you know, SeaArk, without SeaArk, I wouldn't be here. You know, they've been sponsoring Twisted Cat since day one, and you know, one of the premier sponsors and giving back. You know what I mean? I think I fished 8 of them myself, and now I am on the other side working them. But you know, a chance to win a boat, and then we just had our 2nd annual crappie invitational just down in Lake Barbone, and the video I think just got done for that. And that was an awesome event. Not that I'm a crappie angler, but actually after Darbone's event, I'd like to almost try to do a little bit of crappie fishing. I know you do on the side, right? A little bit.
Yep. We do some crappie fishing in the spring and have a good time. You know, it's these SeaArk boats, you know, whether it's shooting ducks or catching big catfish or crappie or brim, or just going and taking a boat ride on the lake or river. They're a boat for every occasion, no doubt. So let me get this straight. SeaArk is giving away a boat at the crappie tournament this year, right?
Yeah, we gave away a Flex 19 Pro, and what was cool about that is there was a husband and a wife. So this is how crazy the story is. Husband and wife. The wife was on Facebook last year and watched the live weigh-in where we were at Truman Lake, and she says, "Hey, I want to fish that next year." And the husband said, "Well, we can't because we don't have a SeaArk." So she said, "Well, let's fix that." So they bought a Flex 19. And they came to Darbone to the Crappie Invitational and fished it. And it was their wedding. So they spent their wedding anniversary down there. And then you know how we drew 3 names to come up. We had 3 consoles. He was the first name. So he picked I think it was a green console, and they won the boat. So they had their wedding anniversary, won the boat, and had an awesome time. So, I mean, it was really cool. Kind of getting to witness all that. And I've actually got, check this out. This is what the catfish tournament we're going to give away. Let's see. Look at that.
Man. So that's the prize boat for this year's tournament, huh?
That is the prize boat for this year. So somebody is one lucky angler is going to win that boat.
That's a good looking boat for sure. So all they have to do is catch 1 catfish, get it to the weigh-in time, or get that fish checked in time, and they're in the drawing for that good-looking ProCat 200.
Yeah, ProCat 200, Suzuki, Marine Master, got some multi-bars on it, and then also just got Sea Deck by Castaway Midwest, so that thing is looking sweet.
That looks pretty good. I know a couple guys that's got some green boats that they may be looking for an upgrade. That color really looks good on the water for sure.
It does, yeah. So, yeah, all you got to do, catch 1 fish.
Yeah, just 1 fish, get it to the weigh-in, and that's all it takes.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's a fun event. It's like I said, this is I think year 14. You've not missed an event, have you?
No, we've had the opportunity of when we first got in the tournament scene, a lot of good boats on the market. Definitely not here to talk bad about any of them, but from the very beginning, Daryl and I recognized the quality of a SeaArk boat. We've actually owned 2, maybe 3 SeaArks, but we fished the first couple owners tournament, and then had the opportunity to be on the pro staff and have worked every tournament since. And it's just a great time. It's a lot of friends, people get back together for year after year. It's like a big family reunion almost. And it's even if you don't own a SeaArk boat and you're thinking about getting into this sport, come down to Decatur, Alabama. They're on April the 26th. Watch the weigh-in, hang out afterwards, and just kind of maybe see if maybe you and your family might be something you get into. Just like the story you told on the crappie tournament. Someone last year watched it and said, "Hey, I want to give that a try." And it worked out for them for sure.
And they won the boat. I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah,
pretty
neat.
So I guess you've been at every one of these events. I kind of go over for some of the people watching, what this event entails. What all from the dinner to the tournament. Kind of explain, kind of give that atmosphere and explain kind of how each day goes there. Yeah,
definitely. So we'll get into the rules here in just a little bit. But the tournament itself is on Saturday, April the 26th. Our captain's meeting is the night of April the 24th. It's in Decatur, Alabama on Lake Wheeler or any of the connecting waters you can get to by boat. What's really neat about that part of the country is Decatur, Alabama, or at least Wheeler Lake and the adjoining waters, Alex, is a place that you can spend a vacation. A lot of these teams come down and stay the whole week. They bring their friends and family and really make a week out of it. There's plenty of places to catch bait down there. For a lot of teams, it's hard to find good fresh bait, and you can catch your own bait down there, which makes it really nice. Really, just a great fishing destination. There's one thing about the location of Ingalls Harbor, which is where the tournament's going to be at there in Decatur. Is you can go upriver from the launch and be in a river system, and also you can go downriver from the launch, and that's where it turns into more of a lake there on that Tennessee River, which is also the what we call Wheeler Lake for that portion. So if you're a river specialist and you come from the river setups, you've got that there for you. A lot of big blues and flatheads up there. But if you come from the lake and that's what you're more comfortable with, you can jump down that lake. And it's really just it's the best of both worlds when it comes to trophy catfishing for certain. The tournament itself, I talked about the tournament. The captain's meeting is a great time to sit down, eat some great food, visit with your I guess you'd say your competition, see who's telling the truth and who's telling fibs on how well they're doing. But also that's a great place, if you're new to the sport, needing some feedback. A lot of these guys that spend down there for a long time, they're more than happy to share that information with you. We do, because we have the captain's dinner on Thursday night. We leave that Friday open, depending on weather, because sometimes the wind can get up down there, and we leave that open for weather in case we need to have that tournament there on Friday. But right now, the tournament's scheduled for April the 26th on Saturday. Captain's meeting on that Thursday night, the 24th.
Yeah, like I said, it's a fun event. And like I said, I think the 8 of them and got to fish them, and had some good. I guess we did get 3rd place one year. I think last year I got 3rd place. Yep,
you sure did. And what's neat, the anglers, they get, they would get some a SeaArk bag with, that year's sweatshirt and some other SeaArk goodies that are in it. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of exciting. It's almost like Christmas for some of these anglers when they open up their tournament bag and see what all's in it.
Yes. Let's see. So Dennis had a good question. So Dennis, we're going to go over skipjack stuff here shortly. Maybe Jason, maybe we'll have you run over the rules, and then after that we'll kind of answer some questions, talk about some of the boater safety course things that's new in Alabama state law.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we'll start with the rules and then kind of go over any questions that people have, registration, skipjack, all that fun stuff. What's for dinner?
Very good. All right. If you want to, I'll just go ahead and jump into the rules and we'll get that knocked out of the way. Let's see. All right, let's go down for registration here. The deadline for early registration is actually today, April the 7th. Any registration after that date will be charged a $50 late fee. No refunds will be given for any reason after April the 14th. Online registration ends on April the 14th. You can still register at the captain's dinner, which I've said is on April the 24th. So if you don't get registered, and I know some people, depending on their jobs and if what you do for a living, you need to wait. You can register that night on the 24th at the captain's dinner, but there is a extra fee for that. That fee will be a total of $425 for your registration. But as we said earlier, online registration is closing at 7 p.m. on April the 14th. The reason we need that is so we can get the clothing ordered and all the tournament information finalized, the caterer, so we get enough people, make sure everybody gets fed. So that is the reason for our timelines on the registration. Let's see. The captain's meeting will be on Thursday the 24th. It is mandatory for at least one member of the team needs to be present to check in for that. Check-in will be from 5 p.m. until 6 p.m. that night, Thursday, April the 24th. Following the team check-in, we'll have a sit-down dinner starting at 6 p.m. During the dinner, we'll go over the rules and answer any questions about the event. In case of bad weather, we have the option to move the tournament to Friday, April the 25th. Also, too, if you have any questions, there will be a lot of pro staff down there to help. If you have any difficulties, more than happy to help you with any information that we have. Participants and eligibility. This is a team event. Each team may consist of up to 3 adults and may include additional members 12 years old or younger, provided that the boat's total capacity is not exceeded. The 6-rod rule will still apply regardless of the number of people that you have in the boat. To be eligible to fish, the captain's name must be listed on the registration. That's very important. It's a SeaArk Owners Tournament, and the captain must be listed on the boat registration. As I said before, it is SeaArk Boat Owners Tournament. You must fish from a SeaArk boat during the tournament, pretty self-explanatory. And the verified boat owner must be on the boat during tournament hours and present at weigh-in. A copy of the boat registration must be presented at the captain's dinner, or you will not be able to fish. So make sure you get a copy of your boat registration, bring it with you, put it in your glove box so you'll have it there for the tournament when you check in the night before. Sportsmanship. All contestants are expected to follow high standards of sportsmanship, courtesy, safety, and conservation. Any contestants who displays poor sportsmanship, violates these rules or any other state or local laws, or brings unfavorable publicity to the sport of catfishing will be disqualified. It's a team event. It's a fun event. We're all here to have fun. We expect everyone to be professional. Safety. Boat safety must be observed at all times. All boats must be in compliance with Alabama state law, including a working kill switch and U.S. Coast Guard approved chest type life preservers. All life preservers and kill switches must be worn and used correctly when the combustible engine is operative. Permitted fishing waters. Lake Wheeler and connecting waters of the Tennessee River must system accessible by water or is what is allowed. So if you can get there by boat, if you launch from Ingalls Harbor, if you can get there by boat without having a trailer, you can fish those waters. Teams are allowed to lock at their own risk. So their Wheeler Lake, if you're familiar with it, there's a Wheeler Dam, which opens up into Wilson Lake. Or if you go upriver, it's Gunnersville Dam. You can lock through, but you do it at your own risk. No weigh-in exceptions will be made due to lock schedule or delays. And then also under permitted fishing waters, no fishing within 50 yards of an anchored boat. This question comes up every year. Jason, what's an anchored boat? That is a boat that is on an anchor rope connected to an anchor. That is considered an anchored boat. Live well. Live wells are required. Stringers or bags are not allowed. Live wells must be of adequate size to care for trophy catfish and must have the ability to pump in fresh water. That is key. If the tournament director will have authority over all live wells and reserves the right to disqualify a team from the tournament with inadequate live wells. If you have any questions, please contact the tournament director before the tournament. Guys, we're going to work with you. For those that don't have a live well in their SeaArk, maybe these smaller SeaArks, get with us. We'll work with you to make sure you have the adequate live well. The key to that is it's got to be able to pump in fresh water. Fishing hours. Boats must be off the water by midnight the night before the tournament. Fishing hours will be from 6:30 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. All boats must be checked in by 3:30, no later. So we'll have a chip boat like we've had in the past out in front of Ingalls Harbor. You got to be checked in by no later than 3:30. So fishing 6:30 to 2:30, check boat in by 3:30. There will be no exception to this rule on the checking in and will result in a disqualification if you're not checked in. Boat anglers may launch their boats beginning at 4:30 a.m. After your live well is checked. Boats must be launched at Ingalls Harbor. There will be an organized blast off that will begin at 6:30 a.m. No trailering is allowed. Bait. Any legal or commercial bait will be allowed. No chumming or hole baiting of any kind is allowed. Number of rods. All fish weighed in must be caught by rod and reel only. A maximum of 6 rods per boat is allowed to be used at any given time. Any team with a third person is still limited to 6 rods. No matter how many people you've got in the boat, you can only have 6 rods with fishing at one time, but you can have extra rods and reels in the boat. So most rods you can have out fishing at one time is 6. Scoring. Blue catfish, channel catfish, or flathead catfish are the fish that may be weighed. A team limit of 5 fish maximum, and fish must be weighed in alive. Got to have live fish. Got to keep them alive, guys. Alabama state law limits on 1 catfish over 34 inches per fisherman on the boat at a time. During the tournament, 2 and 3 member teams may only keep 2 catfish over 34 inches on the boat and during the weigh-in. A 1-person team may only keep 1 34-inch catfish in the boat at one time, but are eligible to weigh in a max of 2 catfish over 34 inches. So if you're a single boat team, you catch a fish over 34 inches, want to weigh it in, bring it, weigh in, let it go, and you can go back and catch 1 more over 34 inches, but a 5 fish limit total. Fish will be measured from the front of the mouth to the tip of the tail with both the mouth and tail closed in accordance to Alabama state law. This is very important because we're going to be measuring those fish to make sure that you only have 2 that are over the 34 inches. Any boat that exceeds the allowed number of fish over 34 inches will not be allowed to weigh in. Tournament staff will not provide any guidance or feedback on fish length and whether they're allowed when proceeding to the weigh-in. So we'll have a courtesy rule down on the dock that you're able to measure those fish. If you're a little bit nervous about the ruler that you have in your boat, but once you come to the scales, that will be final when we check those fish. Let's see here. Snagging. No snagging will be allowed. A legally caught fish is a fish that is hooked from the gill plate forward. Ties. In the event of a tie, the prize money will be combined and split between the 2 teams. Mechanical failure. In the event of mechanical failure, SeaArk tournament staff will attempt to assist with towing anglers to the ramp if possible, but the ability to weigh in is forfeited since we cannot offer every tournament angler that potentially that luxury. But towing by other means will be allowed without forfeiture of the weigh-in if the tournament rules are followed. Fish must remain in the boat that they were caught in at all times, so you cannot mix fish between live wells between teams, even if you're being towed in by a fellow contestant. Protest. All protests must be submitted in writing prior to the weigh-in. Scales closing. Scales will close 15 minutes after the last tournament boat to weigh in. Closure of the scales will be announced on the microphone. Polygraph. For some lucky teams that do well and some random teams throughout the field, you will be subject to a polygraph. Failure to submit to a polygraph test will result in immediate disqualifications. Alcoholic beverages. At no time during tournament hours are any alcoholic beverages or drugs other than prescription allowed in the boat or to be consumed while on the water. Boat drawing. To be entered in the boat drawing, teams must present 1 legal catfish during the final weigh-in. Participants must be present to win the drawing. In the event of an eligible team not being able to stay, reasons will be discussed on a case-by-case basis between that team and the tournament committee. And then rule changes. The following rules remain unchanged throughout the event unless state or local laws are in conflict. Interpretation and enforcement of these rules shall be left exclusively to the tournament committee. In the event of a rule violation, the tournament committee may impose such sanction as they deem appropriate, including without limitation, disqualification, forfeiture, prizes, entry fee, and prohibiting them from participating in any subsequent SeaArk tournaments. Decisions of the tournament committee shall be final in all matters. It's the committee's discretion to make change where the safety of the contestant is a concern. All tournament, federal, state, and local laws must be obeyed during tournament hours, regardless of chip weigh-in status. It's the contestant's responsibility to know these rules. So that's the rules. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to try to clarify those.
I got a question.
All right.
Where are the fish at?
They're in the water, first of all, and they're probably no, hey, it's a neat time of the year for Lake Wheeler. It's a transitional time of the year. They're having a lot of flood waters, a lot of high water that will definitely move these fish around. So that's what we like so much about this tournament is we've seen teams that have really struggled the week before, can barely catch a fish, and they show up on tournament day and have a top 5 finish. And I said, now come on, y'all were pulling our leg, you were sandbagging. They're like, no, Jason, we just lucked onto them today. And so it'll be a good tournament. Whether you're a river fisherman or lake fisherman, I said this before, this body of water has the best for everyone.
No, it does. I actually got the rules. Let's see, not the rules. Here's from last year, 2024 results. They were pretty crazy.
Yes.
First place 160.58, second 146, 131, 126. The top 12 teams had over 100 pounds. That's a pretty big deal.
Yep.
Top 23 teams had over 90. So, and 50th had 69 pounds. So, not many places you can go and have that much success. The Bama Blues event that I did, I think we had 105 boats and we had an awesome weigh in there. So, Wheeler always puts out for us. Hopefully we have good weather. And, we talked about the flooding that everybody's getting down south. Will that affect the Tennessee River, or is it mainly going to be the Ohio, Mississippi, or?
I know right now. I think they're running. Oh gosh, I think they're ramping it up to maybe 100. They've been in the 80s, going to 100,000. That's a pretty good amount of flow. That's close to maybe some of the floodgates spilling. But if the weather behaves and everything goes well, I would hope that these floodwaters that we're seeing, and now that you say that, Alex, prayers out to everyone that's been affected by all these tornadoes and these storms, and then now these floodwaters that have come through. Sometimes with life we go through some challenges and we don't understand why, but our prayers are out there for everyone that's having some difficulties with this. It's been pretty tough for a lot all over the country for sure. But no, to answer the question, hopefully by the time tournament gets here, a lot of these floodwaters will be receded, and the Tennessee River through there should be hopefully back to its normal flow.
Good, yeah. Like I said, it'll be interesting. I know I talked to Russ DeVore, and he lives down in New Madrid, Missouri, and I know that they got a lot of water. Some of his buildings that he owns got flooded, so they were dealing with that. But he says he's still going to make it to the event. And I had to add Tyler Moses to his team, so Tyler and Keith will be on his team, which they're a good team. But yeah, like I said, it's. But yeah, so definitely prayers out to everybody that's dealt with the flooding and tornadoes. That's you're like in that tornado alley the last few big storms.
I tell you what, Northeast Arkansas, West Tennessee, even get down to Mississippi and Alabama, it's the new tornado alley. I think it's probably more tornadoes we've seen in the past 3 weeks than we've seen in the past. Golly, seems like 30 years. That's probably not right, but. Yeah, it's been pretty scary, but prayers, like I said, to everyone that's been affected, and hopefully we get all this weather out of the way, so we'll have a great tournament there here on the 26th.
Yeah, and again, somebody's going home with that right there.
That's a good looking boat for sure. I'd love to. They got that Marine Master trailer underneath that SeaArk ProCat 200.
Yep.
We talk about
the fingerprints off that after the crappie tournament.
Yep, for sure. And we talk about these boats being ProCat. We call them ProCat boats, but there's a lot of bass fishing guys I know that have these boats, crappie fishing people that have these boats. Great, just multi-species boat, large boat, very safe, deep fee, very good, smooth ride. Definitely a great boat to have. For some of you guys, as I said earlier, these smaller SeaArk boats, that river system through there, if the wind does blow, that's not as treacherous. So get with us, and we'd be more than happy to try to help y'all out and make this a great tournament for everyone.
Yeah, there's our John Edwell, our marketing director at SeaArk. He said that thing, and
that's great.
Producer making me want to pull a trigger on one.
Yeah.
And then Tom, that always takes some good shots of it. Nothing like seeing Ingalls Harbor with 150 SeaArk boats early that morning. So, actually, while because I know a few people couldn't jump on until 7:30, I actually got the video from last year's event. Let's just throw that up there real quick.
Yeah.
Just a quick 3-minute video for the people watching that haven't really seen or understand the experience of that event. Here's a quick recap of the 2024 SeaArk Owners Catfish Invitational.
Looks like we've got 100 pounds to the 100-pound club, so see if he was able to break 100-pound fish today.
Hey everyone, we want to welcome you to the 2024 SeaArk Owners Catfish Invitational here on the banks of the Tennessee River, Wheeler Lake. We're so excited to be back.
Broke down at a truck stop. She looked about as wild as a stupid sheep. Said she was a Christian, saving souls in Savannah, and the Lord was sending her to Alabama.
SeaArk Owners Catfish event here in Decatur, Alabama on Wheeler Lake.
So now we are up to 180, anywhere between 180 and 220 boats, and we're allowing 3-man teams. So it's really grown over the years. We really seen a market that was hungry for a boat that wasn't there. So we started working with guides, and we worked with our dealers, and we designed the ProCat 240 in 2007, 2008, and from there it just catapulted.
It's almost 2:30. The fishermen have to be off the water or quit fishing at 2:30, be in the weighing line at 3:30. So They're rolling in, our crowd's starting to show up, and I think we're going to be seeing some big fish today. Big blues, big flatheads, just some big Tennessee River fish, and I'm so excited.
We're not afraid to get in there. We want to do that.
60.58, 160.58, give her a round of applause.
Congratulations, folks. That's an amazing weight.
It became a strange situation. She was quick to change the station when we spoke about a murder in Savannah.
116.49, 116.49.
Very good, very good. Congratulations, guys.
So we have our captain's meeting on Thursday night. Most of the people come in a week in advance because it's such a great fishery here at Decatur, and they come in, they make a vacation out of it. The tournament's either on Friday or Saturday, depending on the weather. So we blast off at 6:30. The guys fish all day. They weigh in at 3:30. It's a sight to see. You got to check it out.
59.75 for a big fish weight for the team, 59.75. Awesome. 46.01, give him a hand, y'all. 146.01. 131.34.
Great job, guys. That is a nice fish, though. Look at that.
Good job. Good. Give him a hand. Looks like weight.
But at the end of the day, we give away a ProCat 200 that is over $75,000 to one lucky individual that owns a SeaArk, and man, it's a beautiful boat.
Give this young lady a round of applause. First tournament, SeaArk tournament. Glad to have 88 coming to the scales. Boat number 88.
Appreciate it, old boy.
We have 3 keys and coolers. So we're gonna draw a name, and you get to come up here and pick a cooler. It's got a key in it. Then you get to go pick a console.
3.
Now all I wanna do is make it home to Louisiana, Lord. I hope I don't down Alabama.
Round of applause. Team come in with 160.58 pounds. 160.58.
That gets me fired up, and I don't even get to fish it.
I'm telling you, that's exciting for sure. For sure, that's great.
Even Porter gets the last clip of the video going out.
That's awesome.
Justin just had a good crappie invitational, but man, that is an awesome video to kind of showcase the event from the dinner, the meeting and all that, and then to the tournament itself. And there's just, a lot of cool things. And just like, Justin said, seeing old friends, making new ones. SeaArk does an amazing job taking care of their customers. So it's a fun event to kind of get together with everybody for a week and hang out and talk fishing, get to see some big fish like we did last year. Actually, what was big fish last year? Oh my, 88.26.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's
a giant.
And Wheeler Lakes, for the people that know it down there, just that whole Tennessee River system. But I mean, you're one bite away from being famous. I mean, that fishery, as Steve said, president of SeaArk, Steve Henderson, president of SeaArk Boats, it's an unbelievable fishery, and one bite from being famous without a doubt. And you'll hear, for those that are new, we'll call it a new PB or personal best. There's a lot of personal bests broken down there by the weight of the fish that they've caught.
My PB is down there, 76. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's amazing. It's fun. It's great. Looking forward to it. April the 26th will be a great tournament, great weekend, no doubt.
Purdue said, so if I buy a used SeaArk, am I invited? Yes. So just like Jason said earlier, All you have to do is be an owner of a SeaArk boat. It's a SeaArk Owners Invitational. This is year 14 for that. We just finished up our second annual Crappie Invitational. And then we also have SeaArk Owners Poker Run and Beach Day. So SeaArk itself has 3 owner events: catfish, crappie, and a poker run. And they're all fun. They're all unique in their own way. And we've got a lot of the catfish anglers that come fish for crappie. And so technically, if you do all the events, you get at least 2 chances to win a boat, and then a bunch of prizes at the poker run. But yeah, so buy that used SeaArk, Purdue, and come on with it. You still got time. Whitaker, the email's been sent out. I'll check with John Ed, but all that info will be sent out here pretty soon. And then if you have any questions at all about the event, again, don't hesitate to reach out. We are 138. Is that what I said?
I think 138. Yep, that's what you said.
138 boats registered. Yeah, here's John Ed saying agendas will go out next week at the latest. We'll email them to the email addresses the captain has in a PDF. So is live scope allowed? Yes, this year it is. Next year, I don't know, because it's probably not going to be with Twisted Cat. But yeah, that's a good question. That's something we'll have to talk about maybe here before we get off the podcast tonight. Sawyer says, what's a good first SeaArk? Well, my first SeaArk was in 2013, and I went from the fiberglass world, going to the sandbar, stuff like that, and I got an Easy 200 to kind of have a mix of, I could fish, put a cool rod rack on the back, had a live well, but then I could still go to the sandbar. They didn't have SeaArk didn't make an Easy Cat yet, but then I sold that and got a Pro Cat. So I went Easy 200, Pro Cat 240, Pro Cat 240, and then now I got a Dynasty. What about you? How did you start out?
We had a 2072. I think it was maybe it was the MV. It was a 2072 5-degree hull center console. It was our first one. Fished it for several years. Bought that boat and had an old 2-stroke bass boat outboard motor we put on it, and built our own live well. After that, we upgraded to the 2072 with a center console with a deep V. Still have that boat. Love it. It's great. And then we fish right now out of the Pro Cat 240, and that thing is a fishing machine. It's built for I would say almost every species, and really doesn't draft that very deep of water. I'm very impressed with how well that carries a load. But as far as what's your entry level at SeaArk, it's probably what's best for you and what type of water you fish. But they've got a great selection of boat for every occasion. Those big easies, they got the big seats in the front, party in the front, and then you can put the business in the back where your rod holders if you're cat fisherman. But also they got large front decks for those that are crappie guys, bass guys. You can literally fish 2 people off these large front decks on these boats too.
Yeah, and then a couple guys, Greg and Devin said Protege. Devin says, loving my Protege, great starter boat. Only issue is I'm ready for more. So I think he's Protege 240, but
yeah.
Like I said, it depends. People always ask, hey, I want to get an Easy Cat, or hey, I want to get a Dynasty, and I'm like, well, what are your needs? What fits you? Do you take your family out? Is it you by yourself? I like a center console boat sometimes too, and I've been in some of those, and but then I like the windshield and the consoles, like the Dynasty and the Pro Cats. I've got a lot of buddies that have an Easy Cat, so I like to go out with them when we take little poker runs and stuff like that. So
yeah, one thing, these SeaArks, especially the larger ones, they've got these seats that you can remove out of the back of them. So as Daryl said on a video earlier, you just got so much room for activities. A lot of room, and a lot of guys bass fish. I know these Slayer, these duck boats, I call it a multi-purpose boat. Those are not only great hunting boats, but great boats for fishing out of too. So they've really got everything that fits everyone's need.
Mosley says, I like that 26 for assault cat con. You look good in 20. I think you're talking about Oh, Pro Guide probably.
Yep, the big Pro Guide they had there.
Big Pro Guide.
So if you've got
or
a
a big
large,
guide in Texas, it'd be perfect for you.
yeah, if you got a large family or a bunch of friends, that Pro Guide is 26-foot fishing machine.
It is a giant. You know, it's kind of like well, it's 2 foot longer than your boat. It sits a little higher, bigger live well, and then you can have 6 seats. So Ryan Casey fishes out of that boat. He's been a guide for a long time. That's his go-to. That's what Devin said, the best of both worlds. Devin, you want to go now from a 20, then you want a 24, now you want a 26. So, but yeah, like I said, that's what's cool. And, you know, with these events, what's tough for me is being a tournament director and going, and then I get all these boats coming through and I get to see this idea. And I'm like, wow, I got to have that. So at the Crappie Invitational, my one takeaway was a guy that had live scope on the front, because we might have to be banning it for Twisted Cat next year. But the problem, like we had at the Crappie Invitationals, we did live scope and non-live scope. So if you wanted to fish the non-live scope division, you had to unplug your transducer cable from your black box, which some of them are up underneath the anchor storage and all. This guy had a bulkhead fitting. So then his transducer cable went right into it, screwed in real nice, and then unscrewed when he did it and take it all off. I ordered that the next day because it's nice to sometimes, especially, you know, I have a cornfield mount on the back. I got to drill a hole, run the wire all the way through, and then my cable goes upside down. I got to screw it in. It's kind of tough. Well, now I'll have a plate on the back that I can screw in and out. Garmin sells it. So that's pretty cool. But you always get to see like the unique, and you've been doing this a long time, what all the unique things, you know, Doug Vaughn's Pro Cat 240.
Have any of ever won on a boat? He's got it. Nitrous tanks included. But you know, you say that, but there's a lot of creativity and ingenuity that's another part of these tournament scenes, is you get to see everybody else's boat, and that's a lot of what happens after the tournament too. I've done it myself. Almost every SeaArk, a boat will come through, and then after the tournament, I'm running out in the parking lot trying to look at what they've developed or configured, because it's pretty neat. It's neat what these guys are able to come up with. Make your day a lot more efficient.
Randy, I remember that conversation. I think you talked to me about that. So good call. Usually it's the wife, but the daughter made the decision.
Oh, that's neat. That's awesome.
Yeah, I will send you that, Ray. But it was, like I said, I seen it. The dude took it off in 2 seconds and had a nice cap that screwed over the terminal. It was super awesome.
You know, we talked a little bit earlier about you know, some bait, and for those that are new down there to that body of water, I think Philip Brown has got an excellent YouTube video. Thanks to him, I know a lot of beginners have really complimented on. He tries to help show everybody the different locations where you can catch bait down there in that area. Skipjack for most is what everyone's going after, but also, you know, if it's legal to the waters of Alabama, obviously any legal bait is you can be used. And I think one year some people that won the boat was using stink bait, caught a channel cat or a blue cat that was about a pound, 2 pound fish, and won the prize boat with just that one fish. So that was pretty neat.
Yeah, no, there's been times where, you know, I struggled. I was like, man, am I going to catch a fish? Because the year before we got 3rd place, I think we got 193rd place. You just never know how things are going to go, but catching fish. So maybe take that chicken. I don't know who said that. That was somebody's question for you. Let me look back. Where's it at? Where's my boy at? There he is, Doug Evans. Yep. Have you ever used chicken for bait?
Sure have, and it catches fish.
It does, 100%.
I know a lot of people think that we just make that up, but I've seen some Kool-Aid, red Kool-Aid, and some garlic and other homemade concoctions on some chicken breast do pretty good. But yeah, there's I've seen a lot of good fish caught on that. But you know what's important is you just got to catch one to get in for the drawing, and then after that you're going for the win.
Yeah, one gives you a chance for that.
Awesome.
one fish. So yes, Doug, I'm going to take chicken, worms, stink bait, whatever I can figure out, as long as I catch some fish to have a chance at that. Randy said we had fun at the crappie tournament. Hope to do it again next year. Yeah.
Good. Good.
Yeah,
Hope
we had
crappie guys come over and give the catfish thing a try.
Yes, absolutely. And the poker run and beach day is Friday, June 20th and Saturday, June 21st. Super, super awesome event. I think we had 30 some boats. The first year, I think we started with 9 boats. A lot of people think, what is this poker run and beach day? And now we're over. I think we had 34 boats last year. We're going to cap it at 50. We're looking at registration opening up probably pretty quick, probably here in the next couple weeks. And it's a cheap registration, but it's something, if you really, everybody that's been a part of the poker run has always came back the next year. So that's growing also. So all the events are growing, and we love being a part of the SeaArk family. And like I said, like you said earlier, they give it back.
They sure do.
Way to the owners.
Sure do.
So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Randy. One thing I did want to ask you, and like I said, if there's questions you have, whether it's about the SeaArk Owners Invitational, any Twisted Cat events coming up, or you have a chance to ask Jason Masingale, and if he doesn't answer, we'll get Daryl on here soon, because that's what Stout said. He said, you got to have Daryl on because Jason won't tell us all the truth.
That's
so we'll have to,
duck hunter coming out in me. I'm sorry, I can't.
So we'll have to have Daryl on here pretty soon. Heather said that we are going this year to the poker run. So Aaron, Gerald, real quick, so while I'm looking at these questions, my question is live scope, something brand new. What are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts of the future on it? And then I'll kind of give you my take.
I think it's something that's pretty neat. It's a definite a tool in the arsenal. I think that on some bodies of water, it's a game changer. I think on other bodies of water, it's probably maybe a little bit difficult, on your larger rivers, but still you're able to catch them. So, I don't know, for catfishing, I know it's really changed the world of crappie fishing tremendously. From a tournament perspective, they've got 2 divisions. I don't know if the catfish world's just there just yet, but I also maybe I can't look at the camera and answer the question, but I also know some teams that are really doing a good job with this equipment. They're really showing out.
Yeah, and I think I thought it was a couple years out, and now we have to do, in my opinion, we're still at that grassroots level where we have to make a change, where I don't think that we're ready for a live scope division. Like here, here's some good questions. Could I just leave the Garmin head unit at home? At what point does live scope come off the boat? So, the way I'm looking at it now is I've got a live scope on the front on the trolling motor that's about impossible to take off. It would be a big deal. And I've got a live scope on the back that I can take off. So I talked to the owner of NPFL, the Big Bass League, and what they're doing is, they actually, when you come in on Tuesday for practice, they are putting a special, I thought they were going to have a transducer shield, but they're actually putting a cable cover on your, when you unplug from your black box, on that cord. And then when that collapses, they have a barcode zip tie that goes to that. And then they check it at the end of the tournament. So a good question, Aaron, couldn't I just leave the Garmin head unit at home? You could. How will I know that it's at home, in your truck, at the Airbnb, at the hotel, in your back seat? So just to make things really simple, as we're looking into what works, how to do this, logistically, because you always got to think as a tournament director, how do I, if 100 boats are going to fish a tournament, how do I get the ones with live scope, a transducer cover or something? So, and do it quickly. So we're looking into how things are going to work with that. But definitely, because we've seen it. I hate to bring up, I won't bring up his name, but there's an angler in Texas. If you follow Twisted Cat, you know who I'm talking about. great guy, great family comes and fishes the events, but they are killing it in Texas. Got second place at our Twisted Cat event at Lake Ray Hubbard, and then won multiple events. Not only won them, done fishing with a bag at 9:30 and going crappie fishing for the rest of the day. That says something. I don't want, my concern as a director is if it gets to the point that Alex Nagy doesn't want to go fish a tournament because the guy that's been winning has live scope and he's very good at it, then I'm going to quit going. And I want people to go and have fun and continue that. So we're looking into that very hard to get an answer soon so people know next year what we're looking at. But for this year, we're still live scope and kind of curious how to work. I mean, you know, do you think Vicksburg, do you think live scope is something that can help an angler?
I don't know. What Daryl and I are learning it, and that's the honest to gosh truth. I don't know just yet. When you got that large, the moving water and that sort of things, boat control is so important with these live scopes because these fish will slip in and out of that very narrow beam. But I guarantee you that both Daryl and I, along with a bunch of other teams, are trying to see what can this tool do for us, and will it give us an advantage on tournament day. And Alex, you bring up a good point. If you look back at a lot of the crappie tournaments, they used to have 100+ boat tournaments, and early in the live scope days, those got scaled down to literally, from what I was told, at least 10 and 20 boat tournaments, and that's tough because everybody, at least today, and as I said earlier, now anybody in the field could win these tournaments, and that's truly no lie, because there's a lot of talented fishermen that'll come fish these things, and we want to try to keep everything on as even playing field as we can.
And I think if we get to the point where it's like, hey, we've got a bunch of anglers that say, hey, I want live scope. Let's do a live scope division. Let's see how that plays out. Let's maybe we do a couple live scope deals. The biggest thing though, just like Devin just said, I use it for crappie and bait, but keep it out of competition. We've seen how it's changed other trails and the mess it's caused. And like I said, I followed ACT, American Crappie Trail, for years. They did such an awesome job, kind of gave me ideas to build Twisted Cat, and he sold out. Live scope came in. Maybe he's seen the writing on the wall. And now, I mean, you're seeing crappie tournaments with 14 boat fields.
Yeah.
And that's my scare looking at it like that. Aaron, he just won't stop. How about I let you hold on to the head unit? I don't want to have to dig those wires in and out all the time. So again, real cool. Way under $100 piece of equipment, super easy to install. I'll probably do a video on mine. The reason I'm buying that, once I seen it, I stopped the guy. It's raining down at Lake Darbone, and I said, hey, where did you get this? What's going on here? I've never seen this before. He's like, I like my stuff super clean and it's easy when I don't want it on the boat. I'm like, done. And then I went to the Garmin website and bought that. So that's, like I said, we're working on logistics. We don't want people to have to dig underneath their consoles and stuff like that. So again, we're doing it to better the sport. Oh, right here. You're right, Randy. That was you. Super awesome. I wish I actually got a picture on my phone somewhere of your setup, but it was awesome. So I've been talking about you this whole time. I don't know if you knew that or not, Randy, but yeah, super awesome deal, and I'm pretty excited about that. So drawing the line, Calvin asked, that's a good question. Side and down imaging can be just as useful. So I'm going to disagree on that a little bit. So side imaging and down imaging is good, but they're not putting that bait in front of that fish like live. And when you have an angler that is beating people at Tawakoni by 30 pounds constantly, like, that's saying something. So that's tough. I mean, and that's a great thing. I think side imaging, down imaging, 2D, all that, I think there's some anglers that are really good at using it, but live scope is just a different animal. In my opinion, no comparison. And we are just seeing it in the catfish world. Calvin, we've seen what it did to the crappie world. like I said, when I was following ACT, they had some 200 boat tournaments, and I don't know that they've ever seen one of those again. I don't know that you see really any tournaments over 100 boats in the crappie. And when we go to the crappie invitational that we do for SeaArk, it's usually split down the middle for who want live scope, who don't want live scope. And if everybody was all in, I agree. I think that it would be, let's all do it. But I'm not as good as some of these anglers that got the time to put in on live scope. But that's where I draw the line, Calvin. But we can definitely have some further conversation about that.
So have you seen this question my brother posted?
So question to everyone out there, who's a better fit? Oh my.
This might be a breakup over. Question to everyone out there, who's a better fisherman, me or Jason? Well, I tell you what, maybe we just do a head-to-head one time. Just for fun. Just for fun.
Has he got something to say about that?
Hey, I
like that. Let's do that.
Just for fun. Hey, it takes a team no matter what. That's one good thing about, as me and Daryl, we've been fishing since literally we've been crawling under barbed wire fences to our neighbor's farm pond. But it's fun. It's one good thing about your brother being your partner. You can have a lot of conversations that you may not could have with your friend and still be friends at the end of the day. So no, we get along real well. But that would be a fun little challenge. Maybe a head-to-head.
Yeah, no, we're doing that. So everybody heard it here first. April 7th at 8 o'clock. We're gonna have
she gave it the big eyes.
Oh my. It's gonna go down. Jason and Daryl 1v1, as Rhett says, my son. Every night I got a 1v1 him in his room on his door hoop.
Yeah.
So yeah, 1v1, the brothers. That would be awesome. I'm down.
It'll be fun. It'll be a good time.
Gage I just bought a MV22 272 to catfish the Mississippi at Fishing for Freedom. Awesome. Glad that you're a part of that event. What would you suggest the first piece of equipment I buy for my boat? So Gage, do you just have boat, engine, trailer? And then what are you fishing for? Catfish, crappie, bass. And where are you out of? What town you live in? Daryl Masingale and I have to put up with both of y'all. Wow. Heather's kind of on a little rant tonight.
I'm telling you.
Aaron says you can pick the fish with live scope, but it's a slow way of fishing, in my opinion. It might be, but I would put a lot of money, you versus this angler, one-on-one live scope, and see how the outcome is. So where are we going to do this 1v1 at?
Oh, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Mississippi River, or we can go over there, or both, do a lake and a river,
Oh, I like that. I'm excited about that.
Be a good time. But
there was a couple of tournaments that he didn't fish with you last year. He's kind of riding your coattails.
Yeah. Now, yeah, that's true. That's true. Here comes the smack talk. You'll have me and Daryl split up before we make it to the SeaArk tournament.
Oh my. Let's see. So yeah, any other questions? Keaton will be there at Fort Madison. Can't wait. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, Fort Madison is our next event, which is going to be Sunday, May 4th. So the weekend after, we'll be there. Sean said, I'd like to see them on the Missouri River. Wheeler, Thursday during the day, announce the winner at captain's meeting. Nice. With that, you know what? That might be the place.
That might be the place.
Yeah, that might be the place. Dennis, also, I seen your question. Two things I wanted to hit on. Number one, Alabama started a new law last year. Last October, actually, like a week after perfect, Scott. Scott can read my mind. So about a week after, they started a new law that anybody fishing Alabama waters has to have a boater's safety course, boater safety license. So it was a lot of confusion when this came to be. You know, this game warden said this, and then this state guy said this. So what it is, it's super simple. And John Williams, don't hate me because I know that you took a 3-hour Alabama course and it doesn't help you on these other states. But for example, I took a boater safety course when I was 14 years old in Quincy, Illinois, and got my Illinois boater's safety course. And my card is somewhere. And it's been so long that I had to go back and have them. I went on the website, typed my information, and they sent me another certificate. So when I took it and I was 14, that means I'm good for all the other states that require it. So Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri requires you if you were born after 1984. I was born in 1985. So that covers me for Missouri. It covers me for Alabama. So I took the Missouri one also. I'm special. Well, sorry, John. But so with John's help and talking to a lot of people in Alabama and finally getting to the state level, we understood that you don't have to take an Alabama course. You just have to have your own state's course. You can take the Alabama course, but it won't help you in the future. So make sure you take your own state's course to have your boater safety course, because you will have to have it to be legal. But that's a good question. Cole, I think, took his Illinois and Missouri. So just like Liz she took her boater safety course and Hunter's safety course, I guess the same weekend. It was a 2-for-1 deal when she was 16. So now she's good. So just make sure you take your courses. John said he had to use the Alabama one for practice. The other question Dennis asked about skipjack. What's the creel limit? The creel limit that I am 99.9% sure is 50 per person. Now that's not 50 per person per day. It is, from what I understand, it's 50 per person in possession. So that means that I can only have 50 in my possession. Jason can only have 50. And like I said, the most important thing is that if you have questions, ask them. We don't want anybody to get disqualified. We don't want anybody to get a ticket. We want everybody to follow the law and have fun. And Alabama has changed a lot of laws for us, helping us with the catfish laws, the 34-inch law. And something unique, and I know we talked about this, I had to change a twisted cat rule in Savannah, Tennessee on Pickwick because Alabama has a law that you can't transport live catfish out of the state. So when we're doing out of Savannah, Tennessee, and you're allowed the trailer, and you put in and you fish Pickwick, but you catch a fish, and it's a big deal because the bass tournaments have to do the same thing. If you go up to the Pickwick Dam or the dam on Pickwick, which I guess would be Wilson, all right?
Yeah.
Wilson, yeah.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
And you catch a catfish, you can't bring it in to weigh it with me unless you kill it. So, we had anglers that wanted to fight it and say, well, that sucks. We shouldn't do this. Well, it's also hard when we're trying to chase these laws to go backwards and say, hey, well, let us do it for this event. So, we just wanted to make sure that, it's a great law, and we're glad that, it could be the other way around and we're still fighting it. So little things like that come up, you never know.
Definitely got to know on all these tournaments across the country. You've got to know your local laws because there's a little bit of variance from state to state. So yeah, I would hate for someone to have a winning weight and make a very simple mistake on a law. So you definitely look at your laws, research those, make sure you're in compliance.
Yes. I seen Steve just put, y'all should split up. He'll take either one of you as a partner.
Hey, from the president of SeaArk Boats, I think Daryl's out of luck. I'll take Steve. I'll take Steve with me.
Yeah, all right, Daryl. I mean, I think Steve can catch a few catfish.
He can. Hey, I tell you, well, I tell you, for those, Steve's a prime example. Steve's one heck of a bass fisherman, wins a lot of tournaments there in Arkansas bass fishing, and has been able to cross over into the catfish world really quickly. So for those you guys that are out there, and a lot of the same things carry over. Daryl and I learned how to fish lakes by dragging crankbaits for crappie on Sardis Lake. We learned how to read the maps, study where the fish like to be and where the crappie were, the catfish were. And Steve's another prime example of a bass fisherman that's crossed over and has done well. I think they had what was their finish down at Vicksburg? Maybe 5th place finish, 6th place finish at Vicksburg.
Oh, they had a good finish.
Phenomenal finish, and one bite away from winning the whole thing. So
that's what's cool about the catfish. I mean, you're literally one bite can change everything, and one bite at the end of the day. Justin Porter, even in the crappie world, it's hard for me to explain this. I don't know a ton about, but they caught their big fish, which is like 2.14, like at the last 6 minutes of the tournament. Well, sometimes I have people weigh in and fish 3 hours before the tournament's over.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a lot of time to change the game.
Yep.
And it happens so much at the end. So you got to use every minute you can. It's a big deal. So yeah, Randy also confirmed 50 skipjack. I called them to make sure.
Okay. So is that 50 per person?
50 per person.
Okay.
Okay, Gage said, I just have a boat, motor, trailer, and some rods and tackle. I'm going to fish pool 21 for catfish. Figured if Nathan Moore can do it, ouch. Luckily, he's in like a meeting right now, and he's not on the podcast. I agree, though. I fish with Nathan. If anybody's seen us, we went live yesterday in pool 19 on the Mississippi River, and it was unbelievable. We had a rod just almost pretty much get buried for a minute, and he just sat there and watched it. He lost fish after fish after fish. Donald, I know, was on here. Some are watching, and Donald can attest to that. He got to see it yesterday. And if you don't believe me, go watch the live from yesterday, and you'll see Nate Moore miss fish after fish. But hey, if you got some questions, holler at me this week, and I'll help you out however I can. Super excited that you're fishing the owners or the Fishing for Freedom. I'm waiting for Donald to say something crazy on there. But yeah, Gage, we'll help you out how we can. What's up, Clyde? Keaton's asking about planer boards. What do you know? Do you use planer boards much, Jason?
We've actually, all the way back in the day, used some of the planer boards well before they picked up here in recent years. I mean, back 2010, 2012, we were using planer boards. I like it. We like them and we hate them. We use the Parks planer boards, which are great. But they do, especially on some of your shallower water, and then also some of your bodies of water that get a lot of fishing pressure is where those planer boards come into play. Because for some reason that boat being over the top of them, even in 40, 50 foot of water, can make a difference. But the answer to the large versus the small, we haven't used any of the great big ones. Haven't tried those yet, but just the Parks planer boards, those seem to do great for us.
Good. Yeah. Roger said, I read a YouTube comment. So we're on YouTube also on this podcast. I read somewhere that Alabama had a grandfather clause re-boater safety course for older boaters, I think. You know what? I think somebody did tell me that. I don't really know. I'll have to look into the grandfather clause. I think you had to be in your 70s or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but
yeah, I'm not sure on that one either.
That's a very good question.
Crawford,
I'm not even answering this question right now.
It's a great refresher. These boater safety classes are a great refresher to keep everybody safe. So in the long run, it's a good thing for sure.
Sam, what is the best way to contact you? You can call me. I'm going to throw my number out there. And I learned something, Jason. You might like this. So at the crappie tournament at the Invitational, I went over the rules and I said, hey, here's my number. If you have any questions, because I heard, as I was going down to that event, throughout the week of everybody down there hanging out, they called me and said, hey, I heard this was happening. I heard that it was all live scope and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I didn't hear it. You know what I mean? I said, tomorrow, if you have a question during the tournament, I don't want anybody to get disqualified. Call me and ask me. So guess what time my phone rang tournament morning?
2 a.m.
Close. 3:36. So 3:36 in the morning was my first call. So Sam, please don't call me that early. I'll be up for a while after this podcast, just going to eat some dinner and send some emails. So if you want to call and chat about the invitational coming up or anything else we got going on, Johnson, the Gulf of America, it's killing me. So yeah, any other questions you got for Mr. Jason Masingale? And if he doesn't answer them correctly or truthfully, we will make sure that we get Daryl on here soon.
Daryl, he cannot tell a lie. Gosh love him.
Mr. Bobcat Outdoors, individuals born before April 28th, 1954 are exempt from the boating license exam, meaning they can operate a vessel without completing a boating course, but still need a license. Interesting. I wonder if that's because the older you get, you're just more knowledgeable. It's like you don't need that course, or I mean, I'm just curious. Is that the thought process of that?
I don't know. Maybe if you've lived that long and not drowned, they figure you know the rules of the water for sure.
Got a boater education certificate from Kentucky after registration. How do I add this? So we don't need any boater education certificate. That's a law, just like your fishing license. So actually, Devin, I remember you asked a question, and have you ever heard of, let's see, where's Devin's question? Devin says in Oklahoma, I can't find it now. He said in Oklahoma, we get tournament exempt licenses where they can just buy a out-of-state license for a tournament. I have never heard of such a thing. Have you?
No.
So yeah, you got to make sure that you have that. Tennessee also has a clause. I don't need to have one.
You know, a lot of states will have those 1 day, 2 day, 3 day passes. But yeah, I'm not familiar with that in Oklahoma.
I'm going to call you 3 and shoot the breeze. You know what? I can block numbers on my phone too. So remember that, John. Chris said, hey, make sure I'm on the list with Terry and Lisa Haraway. Terry called today and said, make sure you're not on the list. So that you'll have to have that conversation with Lisa and Terry. Chris, sorry about that. It's not a good look to find a bunch of old timers. Aaron. Doug is on the questions tonight. Doug Evans says, what's your thoughts on rattles?
Both. Start with both of them. Start with and without rattles, and let those fish tell you what they like. Every day's different, and sometimes it changes throughout the day. That's a Daryl Masingale answer if I could ever give one. We fish with both and let those fish tell us what they like for that day.
Ouch, Chris.
He's picking on you, Chris.
So yeah, that's a good question. Like I said, there's been a lot of new things, you know, rattles, the Livingston lures now that have that make kind of a shad sound when they hit the water. But like you said, everything's different. So, you know, one day maybe they want this, one day maybe they want that. And then I get to see everybody come through the weigh-in line. Some people have gotten smart and they put their rods and gear away.
Mm-hmm.
But I always take a mental picture. Oh, they got first place and they were doing this. That's a weird looking rig.
Yep. You got, hey, even if you don't do well in a tournament, come to that weigh-in. Guaranteed you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot.
Oh, I agree. John said it'd be nice if they had a blanket license for one fee. Good United States. I agree. It's tough, especially, you know, when you're fishing the Mississippi River and you've got multiple states and trying to keep up with all that. What else? You got any advice that you can give these anglers, some of these new people that just get in a boat, getting involved in the sport? You've been doing this a long time. What? Give some of these anglers some advice from an OG. You the OG. OG is a good thing, so I'm not calling you old.
Okay. All right. Don't set your expectations too high. Like with anything new that you come into, just because you have all the right equipment, it doesn't guarantee you that you're going to win a tournament, but also catch a fish of a lifetime. Have realistic expectations. Time on the water is key, but now there's a lot of information out there on social media where guys are willing to share what they're doing. Keep a logbook. Especially every fishing trip you take, important information, time of year, level of the water temperature, that sort of thing. I cannot explain how important that is as a new fisherman to go back and look through that, and you can see trends and find trends. And then also, make friends in the fishing world, because especially in the catfish world, there's a lot of people that's willing to help you and share. I literally, when the drift fishing first began, or we first heard about it, Phil King and James Patterson, they'd come into weigh in and talk about catching 30 fish that day. Daryl and I were fishing off the anchor, had been for years, and we were catching 9 fish that day. Weights were real comparable. Weights were very close, and so one day, it was the middle of the week, and we saw James Patterson out in the river drifting. Literally watched him for what was 60 seconds and immediately was able to cross over. Okay, that's what he's doing, and worked hard to learn that. But don't have your expectations too high. Keep with a log on what you're doing. Those are some great things to when you get started. And just, I know this sounds silly, but just have fun. Try to have fun. Sometimes Daryl and I have had a really bad fishing day that turns into a boat riding day and scouting day. And we learn something new by doing that. So just keep it fun no matter what you do.
Yeah, no, that's true. What is your personal best fish?
My personal best, I think, is a 79 pounder, caught there at Memphis, there at MRM tournament.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of your big fish you've caught during tournaments.
Yep, been very fortunate for that. We, like everyone, we all have Monday through Friday jobs that sometimes turn into Saturday and Sunday jobs, so we don't get to spend a whole lot of time on the water. So tournament days, we've been very fortunate to catch some good fish on tournament days.
Let's see. Do it for the fun, not as a job. 100% agree. I know you guys used to be anchor guys and have evolved to stay competitive, but what do you think would be the biggest tip to have consistency in tournaments?
Obviously good bait. I think that's key. You got to have some good and bait that you're confident in. So whether that's bluegill, whether that's, skipjack or moon eye, Casey Tudorow, those guys up that way, Rob Benningfield, those guys, they knock it out of the park on moon eye. So just a bait that you're comfortable with, I think is one thing that's probably one of the biggest help for consistency on tournament day. And then also, don't fish off of tomorrow. Don't let how the fish bit the day before or the year before make you burn your whole day. And Daryl, I think there's a word that Daryl will use, don't die on fishing off of memories. Don't kill yourself in a tournament. Try to keep that open mind, stay fresh. That's why a lot of times your home water is the hardest water to win on, because you have way too many memories that's clouding your judgment. Where the new guys that come to town, that's a new body of water, it's fresh on them, and they're able to stay on top of these fish.
Yeah. That's a good question. Randy asked, do you count on the electronics or reading the water? So kind of go over the electronics and how much you trust them, or like maps that you've had over the past.
Yeah, we now the rivers are always changing. I know the Missouri River, Mississippi River guys, what's 50 feet deep one year after these big floodwaters may be, 20 feet this year. So a little bit of both. I think the electronics we use for finding structure, drop off contours, wood, and then also reading the water is meaning we like a real smooth current. You can catch really good fish and all over these rivers and lakes, but the real boily current, sometimes those fish just aren't there because a lot of times the bait's not there. So electronics, find the structure, and then find the good smooth water or current seams next to those structure points. If there's a good current seam, that's a great place for these fish to ambush bait. Oh, I lost you. Microphone.
I said if you were a lot of good questions, and if anybody watching this and it's after the live podcast, it's not Monday night anymore. I'm sure Jason will kind of keep in touch, and I'll keep looking at this. If you have questions, ask him in this thread. There's Heather again, and we'll make sure that they get answered. Brad says, "What's the average time you will stay in one spot if you know they are there?"
Oh. Anchor, normally we say 15 to 20 minutes on anchor or spot lock. But if it's a spot we really know it's there, we'll be very close. Sometimes they move in shallower or deeper. We may spend, I wouldn't give it much more than an hour. Now there's guys I know that will sit on a spot all day long, and that works out for them and they do well. And they'll spend the whole tournament on one spot or two spots. But for us, 15 minutes per anchor, 20 minutes top. Now, if we catch a fish, we add another 15 minutes to that wait time, 20 minutes to that wait time. But I'd say if it was just a crackerjack spot, I can't imagine. Now, drifting, I can't imagine spending more than an hour. Now, drifting's total different story. You're covering, what may be a mile or more, and there's a lot of in and out variability there. That's a little bit different story. May stick with those areas quite a bit longer because fish, just like the deer hunters in the group, these great big bucks, they have everything that they want close to home. They got a place to rest, they got a place to feed, and they move in and out of these areas. So you got to make sure and cover all those before you leave it.
And then Heather, this is good. When they guys got started, I remember Jason coming home from work and studying river maps.
Yes. So Google Earth is a great way. And then all these navionics that have the top contours and depths, these navionic maps for these lakes and some of the rivers that have been, I guess, mapped is the right way to say it. You can knock out miles and miles of water about what we call fishing in your driveway. Looking at those Google maps, looking at those navionics maps for the depth contours and that sort of thing.
And then, have you guys made that trip to Louisiana yet? And how epic was it? And what would you consider the best catfishing in the country?
Have not made it to Louisiana yet, and from the pictures that I've seen of everybody in the videos, that probably it's going to be a front runner. Tennessee River system is a phenomenal catfish fishery. That Mississippi River is from top to bottom. Area that I'd like to get up, and we've only been up on it maybe once, maybe twice. The Missouri River guys, especially way up there, those guys, catch some monsters. So I don't know. I think Louisiana probably appears to be untapped, and a lot of big fish coming from down there. But I can't. It's hard to answer that question. Depends on time of year and what I'd call the best. But bucket list for us is Missouri River on the upper end where those guys are at, and then also down in Louisiana. We hope to check those off the box here pretty soon.
Yeah, we're excited. We're having a Missouri River tournament August 23rd in Council Bluffs, way up there. Last year we had an event in St. Joe, so we're going to be about 2.5 hours north of St. Joe up on the Missouri River, but big fish. Like it's, comparing the Missouri River to the Mississippi River, which is a whole other conversation, but it's not, it's small. It's not, when you get to the lower Mississippi River, it is massive. Yep. It's fast, it's big, it's deep. And the Missouri is not like that, but for whatever reason, that Missouri River holds a lot of big fish. We weigh a lot of big fish. Have some incredible weigh-ins, and a lot of people's personal best have came from it.
And there's some really good fishermen up that way too. Those guys, they come from that direction. They come all down and fish other parts of the country. They do real well. So it's a lot of fun seeing these guys come from different places and show out.
All right, and we'll do one more question from Randy Hood. He says, "What's your favorite type of structure to fish?"
Probably, I would say, all around lake, river, whatever it may be. I would say wood. For because even in the lakes, they'll still relate to that structure. Now they may be 10 foot above that wood or structure and not down in it, but I would say that for me, I would say wood is favorite structure.
Okay, so his question was, what's your favorite type of structure to fish? My question is, what's your favorite structure to fish? Like where is your favorite structure to fish?
Where? Like what
Where
body?
exactly?
What body of water? Is that what you're asking?
No, like where exactly in that body of water?
Oh,
so
I'll tell you exactly where it is. Oh
yeah.
Gosh, no, it changes from year to year. Honest, hadn't been there in a long time. Ohio River, up there around Henderson. There's some wood that we found up there that we did really well on several tournaments on the Ohio River there. Actually got big fish at the Monsters on the Ohio. And that was that little stretch of river with that wood was by far for me some of the most fun that we've ever fished, just not too far outside of Henderson.
Nice. Okay. Well, I hear the boss coming upstairs now. If I'm not in trouble.
Well, you got to get Daryl on here and get him. See if you can have us fighting, two brothers fighting amongst themselves. And hey, how are you? And,
hey, good. How are you?
Doing good. And see if you get him on there and let him. He can't tell no lie. My nose might get a little long. Daryl, he tells the truth. So get him on here too.
Yeah. I do got to show one last thing that I found, the video that I made several years ago. Not the video of you jumping up in the back of that ProCat 200. This video is a little bit better. This is what people still think, and I can't remember what I made the description of the video, but when you come into a weigh-in, or the people in the Smooth Move hot seats, the face they make, okay, you listen, the face they make when these guys come to the weigh-in. All right, so watch this. The quality's not perfect, but it's good. All right, here we go. I don't know if there's audio, but
I forgot about this one.
I got to redo this.
Now I want you to see who else is in that boat with us.
Oh yeah.
You recognize Mr. Chris Stout?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, 140.49. That was a tournament out of Cape Girardeau. And that's too good right there.
That's funny. That's funny. No.
Well, hey, thank you so much for being on.
Yeah.
There. And you know what he had said tonight he's going to do?
What?
1v1 against his brother.
Oh, wow.
And you called him out.
That is
Daryl called me out.
Oh, Daryl did. I'm wrong. Daryl did.
Who's better?
I like it.
Yeah.
Daryl asked the question, so yeah, 1v1. We might do it at the SeaArk Owners Invitational.
I'm gonna be at the weigh-in.
Yeah, it's gonna be. That might be the best one I've ever heard of. We're gonna get the smack talk started already. Start early.
Go.
Well, awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for being on. We hope to see everybody the next event, SeaArk Owners Invitational in Decatur, Alabama, April 26th. The weekend after, Sunday, May 4th, will be in Fort Madison, Iowa. And then May 24th, Pekin, Illinois, on the Illinois River. And then make sure, come help us be a part of Fishing for Freedom in Quincy, Illinois, May 31st and June 1st. It's an awesome event. Tom said going to have to put that 1v1 on pay-per-view. And everybody else, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like button and share this video to your friends. And we'll see you in a couple weeks. And Jason, thank you so much for taking your time to be on the Monday Night Podcast. We appreciate it.
Thank you as always. Really appreciate what you're doing.
All right. We'll see you.